There is a K-beauty brand that is blowing up on the internet right now. You've probably heard of them before, Tirtir, but it can be pretty intimidating to purchase from them because you most likely do have to shop online since they don't really have a product range available in stores in the US to check out the shades and how each product feels. So today I'm hoping I can make that experience easier for you. If you are interested in experiencing Tirtir products or restocking, since I know a lot of you have already tried their viral cushion foundation, they are having some deals October 8th for Amazon Prime Day. So now is a great time to get in the brand if you're interested. Today I'm going to be comparing the 3 most popular cushion foundations, of course the viral red one, as well as their 2 new ones. What are the differences? How do I like to use them? Because there was a bit of a learning curve for me, as well as their new setting spray, which is also really nice and definitely underrated. I'm really excited that Tirtir is sponsoring today's video. This is a video I was gonna do anyways, but the time really worked out since they are having some deals for Amazon Prime Day, so they agreed to work with me on today's video. Since I am starting off with a blank face, I do want to cover the cushion foundation since at the moment this is the heart of the brand. Now, what makes these cushion foundations special from Tirtir in particular is in terms of K-beauty, they definitely have the largest shade range. The OG, the original viral cushion foundation is in the red packaging. This has a shade range of 40 shades, and they just launched 2 new cushion foundations, one in a silver packaging, one in the pink packaging, which both have 20 shades. And all 3 of these have quite different formulations that I'm going to cover today. If you're shopping through Amazon, you actually have 2 different shades to choose from. The full-size one is $25, but if you're trying to find out your best shade, you might want to try out the mini size, which is $15 at full price. So this is a good way to try out a couple colors without completely breaking the bank or having to buy a full-size one for it to be the wrong shade. So the basic guide to each of the foundations and what the color packaging means. The original Mask Fit red cushion, the one in the red packaging, is going to give you a more satin finish. I find this finish is very easy to manipulate. You can get a glowy, dewy look with this, or you can get less dew. But generally speaking, it's going to give you satin finish, pretty full coverage. The pink packaging gives you full coverage, no questions asked, and it has a matte finish. So this one is going to be perfect for more oily skin. And then the silver packaging is going to be more for every day. It has a dewy, hydrating finish and then more of a natural medium level of coverage. So come close. I'm going to talk you through each of the formulations, do a full demo of them, starting off with the original Mask Fit red cushion. I had tried this in a first impressions a couple months ago, and I thought it was too heavy, too cakey. Turns out I was using it wrong. Thank you guys so much for answering in the comments the best way to use this foundation. So there was a little bit of a learning curve there for me, but once I got it, and now I get it. I get the hype. Now my shade, if you are a shade match with me, 23N Sand is pretty much my perfect shade. The first time that I purchased the foundation, I tried out 21N Ivory. That one was just a little bit too light for me, so I moved up to 23N Sand. And just note that in the pan, I feel like it looks a little deeper than it pools on the skin. Every product that you purchase, it's going to come with a sponge, and normally I do not like the sponge that comes with a foundation or any product for that matter. I like to use my own tools, but this is a product where I do use and love and prefer the tool that they give you to apply this product. It's just so different from the normal types of foundations that I normally use. There is a cover. It's going to help keep the cushion nice and wet, and you'll see we have some transfer here because the best way to get the most even amount of product, coverage, not too heavy of a coverage on the sponge, is to pat it against here. So that was the mistake that I made when I first purchased this. So I'm going to take the sponge that it comes with, dipping it on the sponge, and you'll see it's a little uneven there. That's when we go on the back of this and we get everything nice and even. Now I used a really light pressure. I don't want to go in too heavy to the sponge because then that will give way too much product to the face. And then this goes, look at that. I went very light and look at how much product. This goes against everything I believe in, but I find that the best way to use this product is to move and blend in the direction that your hair grows, so that way the product doesn't get in between your hairs and look cakey. Because with a cushion foundation, you can see such little product that I put on this sponge went such a long way. Like, that pretty much covered my whole face. So it really helps to apply the foundation in a swiping motion in the direction that your hair grows, and that will keep the foundation from looking textured. Now remember, this is a satin finish foundation. I find it's very easy to manipulate, so if you want really glowy glass skin, you pair it with your glowy glass skin prep, and this will follow suit. If you want it more of a natural satin finish, don't apply too glowy of a base underneath. Apply more powder products and you will get more of a true satin finish. The coverage on this is buildable up to complete full. If you ask me, it has quite full coverage. This was just with a little bit. Look how much surface area it covered. Don't make the mistake that I did and really push in with your tool into the sponge and go directly on the face. That's how you end up with cakey makeup. And it's just really easy to go in for a second dip here, and I can get complete full coverage by just patting and swiping this on the redness of my face. Crazy coverage, really beautiful satin finish that I have going on here, but you can get a really radiant look with this with the right setting spray, with the right primer. That's how that looks. And I wanted to do half and half for this first demonstration so that you can see the differences between the two foundations we have. So next is the Mask Fit All Over Cushion, which is going to come in the pink packaging. This one is more of a full coverage matte finish. I recommend it for those of you with oily skin. I have it in the mini size for this one. But same deal, go pretty light into the sponge and then get it nice and even onto the sponge by using the back of this and start patting down. Still following that rule of applying in the direction that my hair naturally grows. Now, because this is the mini side, I do dip in about twice into the product as opposed to the red one. That's just because I have the mini size. And here is the side-by-side difference so that you can tell. I feel like my skin looks a little bit smoother. I do naturally have drier skin, so the red one is going to better suit my skin type. But if you have oily skin, this one is your answer, or if you just prefer more of a matte finish. I feel like this one also does give a little bit more coverage as well. And I use 23N sand in both of these. I'm going to finish off the makeup and I'll show you how both are sitting after some time. So with makeup done, if you want to take a closer look, the pink one just has a little bit more matte vibes, whereas this one is a little bit more satin. But I do find the red one is easier to manipulate to get different finishes. This one mostly dries down. But a really great tip, if you are somebody like me who has drier skin, so sometimes some matte foundations can kind of suck the life out of my skin, I need a refresher. That's where a setting spray would come in. And Tirtir did just launch the new Mask Fit Makeup Fixer, and I think it's perfect for situations like more matte foundations on my dry skin, or maybe whatever foundation you have. But if you've put on some powder and you notice it's just sitting a little bit more on top of the skin, that's when I would use a setting spray to aid that. I find that this one from Tirtir really makes the skin look softer and smoother and helps the product and powders kind of soak into the skin. So while it leaves the skin looking really fresh, really radiant, it also does help lock makeup in for long wear as well. And it has a really nice mist. I'm picky about a mist, so I'm just going to get an even layer over the complexion. No offensive smell if you're sensitive to fragrance. Just kind of move in up and down motions to make sure every bit of the face gets covered. And my tip for setting sprays, especially when it comes to matte foundations, I like to take a soft sponge and push the setting spray into the skin, and that's going to suck up the excess powder that you have on the skin, which will instantly make the skin look more fresh. And the setting spray itself is quite lightweight and it absorbs into the skin quickly, so you don't need to press it in like I do. But I find that the days that my powder looks really dry on my skin, this will kind of lock in and ensure that setting spray softens and hydrates the look of the skin. So the setting spray, I just feel like gave the skin a little bit of a second life. And it's also sweat proof, smudge proof, so it's going to help you on the longevity front as well. So since I do have dry skin, I definitely prefer a setting spray like this to help aid that. Those were the first two. The silver one is called the Mask Fit Aura Cushion. This one might be my favorite. This is the more everyday appropriate. Not that the other ones aren't appropriate for every day, but it's more dewy, it's more hydrating, it has a lighter level of coverage, I would say medium buildable. And this is a little bit more like a traditional cushion foundations, because traditionally cushion foundations do have that more wet look on the skin. Okay, so same deal. I'm going to put this all over my face today because this is the one I wanted to wear today. I actually bought the full size of this one when I was in Japan before it had come to the US. So I was so excited about this. What shade did I get? 23N. Oh, I did the right shade match. Anyways, I'm so happy that I ended up really liking the finish of this one since I had bought it in Japan as well. When I was in Japan, I thought it was so cool. They had a whole Tirtir display at Don Quixote. And at the time, I didn't really have the information yet on the different Tirtir cushion foundations because this one hadn't been launched in the US yet. But now we know. I know I'm doing this video. But I don't know if you can see just on this side, but it is a lighter coverage. There's more reflection going on here. My dry skin likes this one a lot. But you can build up the coverage a little bit. You see that covered my freckles a little bit more, but it's never going to give like a full coverage. I need to put on my concealer or whatnot, but you can tell this one is the most different from the other two, and it's the closest to a more traditional cushion foundation. So if you like that glassy skin look, the lighter coverage, this is going to be the one for you. And because I want to keep the dewiness of the Aura foundation, but I still want it to last, I'm going to use the setting spray again. Since the foundation is glowy and I don't really have any powder, I don't really need to push in the setting spray. So I'm just going to let this one sit. Use my fan. So if you've heard about Tirtir before and you just weren't sure because you haven't been able to feel or touch the products in person, I hope that this video helped you out and I was able to explain all of the differences between their cushion foundations as well as introduced you to their new setting spray. And thank you Tirtir for sponsoring today's video. Remember, October 8th is Amazon Prime Day deal, so it's a good time to check them out on Amazon. They have everything that I talked about available, as well as they also have a lot of skincare too that I need to dive into. I'm curious about that. If you've tried any of their skincare, let me know. I will have all of the links to shop Tirtir products down below in the description box, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye guys, have a good one.